I just want to film this before this all comes down. This is for those of you who love to see any progress with our home renovation. So at the moment, this part of the hall is screened off and I'm going to go round and show you why. So this is the view from the kitchen, and if we go round here, we go into my studio. Some of you might roughly know the layout. I've kind of featured it on the vlog a couple of times, but we don't tend to show you in the hallway because it's been in such a state. We needed to have it plastered. So that's why this cupboard is covered up at the moment, and this is the other side of the screen. So normally I can see right down this long hallway, but it's partitioned off at the moment because for the last few days, Stephen the plasterer has been here, and as you can see here, he has done the most amazing job. The walls look fantastic now. They looked absolutely terrible before, and we were actually quite worried about how we were going to decorate them and get them looking good again, because it was a bit too much of a job for us to do on our own, I think. This wall in particular here, the plaster was falling off in places, and some of you may remember that the hallway was also painted in an extremely bright yellow, which I hasten to add has nothing to do with the choices of Dominic or his family. This was a separate apartment at one point, and that was a previous tenant's choice of colour. But it just looks like a different place now. I love these doors, and the door frames, they're just so beautiful. They're original to the house. We're going to paint the entire hallway white and have lots of paintings and prints on the walls. So hopefully it will be a light-filled space, and it's so lovely to see a newly plastered wall. They look a little bit patchy because they're drying out at the moment, but he has managed to get such a smooth finish. There we go. That's the project currently in progress. When this is all dry, we'll be able to paint it, and I'll give you some more updates then. But I know some of you enjoy seeing the home renovations, so yeah, it's just a little bit I wanted to show you. We came back from Cornwall last weekend, and while we were there we went to a little shop in St Ives called Cheese on Coast, and we bought a selection of cheeses. So we took them down into Dominic's parents' part of the house, and we all had a little lunch together. So this is the entire haul. This is everything I bought while we were on holiday in Cornwall. We stayed in St Ives, so a lot of the things come from there, but some come from other places too. And St Ives is very tempting because it has loads of little independent shops and boutiques and really interesting things. I didn't spend an awful lot of money because I don't have much spare cash at the moment. Going on holiday was expensive in itself. So I was a little bit careful about what I spent my money on, but I did get a few nice things, and I'm going to talk you through them, and I'll tell you the prices if I can remember as well. So let's start with Ghosts of Surrey, which seems a bit weird to find this when I was in Cornwall, but that's what happened. As most of you know, we live in Surrey, so this is of particular interest to us. And I walked into the second-hand bookshop at Lanhydrock National Trust, and then I saw this. and I couldn't resist. It was only £1.50. It has lots of real life stories, and yeah, this is going to be perfect for autumn nights beside the wood burner. So that was my last purchase. The first purchase was weirdly another ghost book. Not that I'm obsessed or anything, but this one I found in the St Ives bookseller. So that's a little bookshop on one of the main streets in St Ives. And this is particularly interesting to me now because obviously I know St Ives fairly well, and so I recognise a lot of these places. And it has lots of photographs of the pubs and the shops and the different buildings that are supposedly haunted, with lots of true life accounts. So that one was £9.99. And then another book I bought was this lovely one on Alfred Wallace. I bought this at the Tate Gallery, and I knew his work a little before I went to St Ives. Found out more about it while I was there, completely fell in love with it. And he has an interesting story because he was a Cornish fisherman who became an artist much later in life. So I think he was in his mid to late 60s. It was after his wife had died. She was a bit older than him, and she died, and he wanted to do something that helped him feel less lonely and occupied him. And so he basically became a painter, and he had some success with his paintings too. So they are, if you can see that, beautifully naive, a kind of a folk art style, which is what I really love, and I found them so inspiring. And they're very much based around St Ives, so some of these views I actually recognise, and that's going to be a huge source of inspiration to me. This was a little bit more expensive. This was £14.99, but Dominic is a member of the Tate, and so we get, I think it's a 10% discount, but that's going to come in very useful for my own work. A few other little things I bought at the St Ives bookseller at the same time as buying the Haunted St Ives book were these cards. I like to stock up on greetings cards whenever I see really lovely ones. So when somebody's birthday comes up, I already have them there and ready, rather than having to go out and buy one quickly and not finding the perfect one. So if I collect all of these lovely art cards beforehand, I always have something. So I've got this beautiful one with seashells. That was £3. They were quite pricey, but I thought they were so lovely, and that one reminded me of St Ives. So, and of course the moon, you know how much I love a moon. That one was also £3. They're letterpress cards, that's why they're a bit more expensive. Then we have this beautiful one with painted pebbles on. That was also £3. And this is like a mini book, and you send it instead of a card. So I got this one for Dominic because it's perfect for him. The All Night Bookshop, and that was £4.95. So on the Wednesday we were there, we finally caved in and went into Rollies fudge shop. This, I'm sorry, I'm going to try not to crinkle this too much, it'll be really annoying on camera. They make the fudge in there, so you can actually see them making it in these great big copper pots. And we went in there and we got a couple of packs. We were feeling really peckish at the time. We'd had lunch, but we wanted something sweet afterwards. It's quite pricey. This was actually £5 for this pack, which I think is a lot, but it's fudge at another level. It is incredibly good. So the next things I'd like to show you are the items I got from a little shop called Cream. This was a beautiful homewares and gifts store, and I believe it was set up a few years ago by two ladies who were friends and wanted to create a store where it was kind of a St Ives or coastal themed goods, but very, very tasteful souvenirs. I think I'm right in saying that. Anyway, the bag, I'll just show you this. This is the paper bag they put my goods in, and it's beautiful. Their illustrations are really lovely. One thing I bought there was this, their own branded chocolate. I also got 2 cards. Now these seemed quite a good price. They were, oh it doesn't say, but I think they were £2 each. So we have a shell and we have a St Ives card as well. So whether I keep that or send that, I don't know, but I'm loving these illustrations. And the other things I got, they're still wrapped up because I wanted to show you the illustrations on the tissue paper. So the girl in the shop very kindly wrapped these up for me, even though I said they weren't gifts, they were just for me. She wrapped them so nicely. This is the first time I've opened them. You see, look at this paper. Their branding is so nice. So this was £3.50 and it's just a tiny coaster. This is for my desk in the studio, so I can put my mug of tea on there and think of St Ives. This was slightly more expensive. I saw this and couldn't resist it. I have actually opened this since I got home to check that it travelled okay and didn't get broken. And it's this little dish between wind and water, St Ives. And that was £12. They call it a nibbles dish, but to be honest, it's probably going to go on my dressing table in our new bathroom. So we're nearing the end now, and I'm going to share with you the few things I bought at the Lanhydrock gift shop. That is the shop that you go through when you exit the house, and National Trust gift shops are always lethal. I always end up spending money in them. They have so many amazing things, and this one was no exception. So firstly, I bought these 3 bars of made in Cornwall chocolate, and with beautiful Cornish scenes on the packaging too, which attracted me, I have to say. And I've really exercised great restraint in not eating these. I was keeping them to show you. So we have honeycomb milk chocolate, sea salt milk chocolate and mint milk chocolate, and I'm really looking forward to tucking into those now. They were on a 3 for 2 offer, by the way, so they should have been £3 each, and they ended up at £2 each for the 3. And we have this little book, and this is a little souvenir book. It was only £4.99, and I bought it not just to look at photos of beautiful Cornwall, which of course is always welcome, but actually to use as an art reference. I'm planning on working on a series of paintings, and I took a load of photos of my own, but I thought it would be handy to have a little book like this as extra reference material. Lastly, in the gift shop, I bought this. Now, these are 2 mini candles and a little reed diffuser, and they smell amazing. Pine scents are always difficult because they can smell like a really cheap air freshener or like something you clean your toilet with. This one, I'm really glad to say, doesn't smell like that. It smells like when you bring a Christmas tree into the house or when you're walking through a pine forest. It's the most lovely natural scent. And the moment we walked into the gift shop, we smelt this and we tracked it down. We were like, we have to know what this smell is. And yeah, so I had to buy it. And it was a bit of a treat because it was £16, which is not cheap, but I guess it's not terrible for 3 different items. And yeah, I just thought I'd treat us to it because we both really like the scent, and it will always remind us of a lovely day. We're going to whiz through the last few pieces really quickly. They're just some postcards I bought at St Ives of some of my favourite paintings in the gallery and scenes that remind me so much of our lovely holiday. So they're really beautiful. So I got those, and the last thing is actually something I didn't buy, but something that was given to me. So I met up with Melanie Chadwick. She's an illustrator who lives in Cornwall, and we've known each other for maybe about a year and a half online. I follow her on Instagram and YouTube. She has an amazing YouTube channel. If you love nature, you love soothing voices and soothing music, beautiful scenery and amazing artwork, you're going to love her channel. We met up in an inn, a kind of real smuggler's inn called, and I always get this wrong, but I think it was called the Halzefron Inn, and it was at Gunwellow. And she gave me this as a little memento of my time in Cornwall. And it's a little book she put together. She used to live in Porthleven, and she went around Porthleven sketching the different scenes. And she's combined the images with text, some information about the area. This is a beautiful little book, and I will really treasure this, but please check Melanie out. I'm going to put a link to her YouTube channel in the description. And right, that is the end of the haul and the end of this vlog. Thank you so much if you have watched this far. I really appreciate it. I hope you found it interesting. I'll be back with another art vlog soon. I just want to thank you and say please like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And what else? Yeah, leave a comment. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all soon.